Hey everyone, Maize here, bringing you episode 4 of Waking the Sleeping Demon, my DePaul Blue Demons dynasty. Of course, in this dynasty, it features real players and real recruits, including every member of the DePaul roster and a majority of every player on the rosters in the Big East. In this episode, that's what I want to focus on. We've got 6 games left in the Big East. This episode will sim through the remaining 6 games of the regular season for DePaul. It'll preview the Big East tournament and also look at what Big East teams are on the outside or the inside of the NCAA tournament. Let's start the episode by looking at where teams stand today, and then we'll get a better idea after a few more weeks of games how things shake up in the Big East. Starting with the standings, and you can see Villanova on top, having a great year, only 3 conference losses. They have played 1 less game than most teams in the conference who have played 15. So Villanova, has an opportunity to be a full game up if they're able to earn another win. They've only been 7-3 in their last 10, so they've actually struggled more after a really hot start in Big East play. Georgetown, only other team in the top 25, although UConn just dropped out after a loss in losing 2 of their last 4 games. UConn and Georgetown both 10-5, comfortably in the tournament because they've been playing like top 30 teams all year. You can definitely say the same for Villanova, led by Colin Gillespie, who's probably the favorite for player of the year in the Big East. And then you have Butler. Butler playing really well. The defense has stepped up. And as of late, they have quietly come on very strong. They've won 8 of their last 10. They are coming off a rough loss, but playing their best basketball right now, and it shows. The only other team that probably has an opportunity to make the tournament is the only other team with a winning conference record. That's St. John's. The Red Storm, led by Steph Smith, the transfer from Vermont, and Posh Alexander, the point guard. They've been good, but have struggled of late. Only 4 of 6, including losing their last 3 games. They're going to have to clean it up, and actually, they're going to need to win some road games. But currently, a bubble team, a little low on the bubble. But if they have a good finish to the season, a strong 6 games to finish out the year, there's an opportunity where we could see St. John's knocking on the door to the NCAA tournament. Could you have an upset? Could you have a team possibly win the Big East tournament and make a run? Absolutely. You've seen good moments out of this Xavier team. Same for Marquette. Finally seems like Seton Hall has turned the corner and they're playing well lately. They've won 4 of their last 6 and have been better in their last 5. And down at the bottom, you see Providence and my DePaul Blue Demons tied with only 3 conference wins. We would love to not finish in the basement if it's possible. In this sim, that's going to mean beating some pretty good teams, but we're going to have some opportunities to get some games against Seton Hall and Providence, both games that I think are must wins if we don't want to finish in last place in the Big East. That is a streak that is very real for DePaul in real life. Finishing in last place, finishing in the basement of the Big East. There's only been very few years since DePaul has moved to the Big East Conference that they haven't finished in last place. So this would be a great first step in Kenny Payne's first year if you can get this team out of the basement in year 1, especially with a younger roster. That would be great news. So let's get into simming some games. We're going to go through 6 DePaul games, and then we'll take a look at the Big East tournament and how the teams stack up going in. 4 games on Wednesday, February the 15th. Only 1 game features a top 25 team. That's Nova on the road at Xavier. We will be hosting Marquette, another important game. Marquette, that's a team that is beatable, definitely a winnable game. The good news for us is we're finally back healthy. Our starting 5 has kind of normalized. We now feature Javon Freeman-Liberty, Jalen Terry in the backcourt, David Jones and Romeo Weems at the forward spots, and Nick Ongenda at the 5. Let's see what we can do against Marquette. No surprises here. Maybe Providence with a 7-point win on the road over Seton Hall, although they've been playing okay as of late. Butler, 6-point win at Creighton, and Villanova, all the road teams doing well so far. That might be good news for Marquette having to travel into Chicago. And a big win at home, 85-60 over Marquette. Awesome game for the offense led by Javon Freeman-Liberty, a game-high 19 with 5 assists. Romeo Weems adds in 13. A big win and a dominant defensive performance, only holding Marquette to 60. A great way to start this sim, getting us to 9 wins on the year. Good to see. A full slate of games in the Big East on Friday, February the 17th. 5 games, including a top 25 matchup. Nova again on the road, this time taking on Georgetown, and an opportunity for UConn maybe to get back to ranked if they can hold off Seton Hall and get a win at home. When Georgetown is good, they are great. And they were great against Villanova tonight. 90-67 win, stomped the Wildcats and now move into striking distance of taking Villanova's lead in the conference. That's a tough loss for the Wildcats. Good win for the Huskies, holding off Seton Hall by 6. But the highest scoring player of the night in the Big East, a great performance from Posh Alexander. He drops 37 in a 7-point win over Providence. Good win, a much-needed win for St. John's. Now all that's left on the docket, 18-7 Butler traveling to DePaul. A home game, an important game for us, and an opportunity to get to double-digit wins on the year. And a tough loss at home. Looks like a good game out of Ty Groce and Marquise Hastings for Butler. Butler, that defense continues to step up. 71-63, crushed us after a big offensive performance. To only allow 63 points really speaks to what has been Butler's MO all year, and that is a team that is led by their defense and the effort they put in. That's a good win on the road for them as they continue to improve their resume as they look to the NCAA tournament. A battle tonight of the two best teams by conference record in the Big East, 12-4 Villanova against 13-4 Butler, both ranked now. The Bulldogs jumping into the top 25 for the first time this season. A big game for them, and a big game for DePaul on the road. An opportunity against Seton Hall, against a 4-win team. We have identical records in the Big East. An opportunity to get out of the basement with a win against Seton Hall. Butler, a big win over Villanova, 75-64. That may help them lock up the number 1 seed going into the Big East tournament. Not many games remaining. Tough loss for Villanova. That also may drop them out of the top 25. Having a good year, expected to be a great team coming into this year, and they've struggled a bit in conference. A big win for UConn as well, 16 points at home against Xavier. And another big win on the road, 84-75. Big win over Seton Hall. Good performance again from Javon Freeman-Liberty, a 20-point outing for him. 14 and 9 rebounds for Nick Ongenda. Let's take a quick look at this box score. A big win on the road. Seton Hall, even with a good effort from senior Jared Roden, he got 24 and 6 rebounds in this one. DePaul holds on. Had a great game, including more points in the paint than Seton Hall. Seton Hall, some pretty good front court players, but we were able to get 28 to their 24 points in the paint. 4 of our 5 starters in double digits, including David Jones with 12. Romeo Weems just misses that, having 8 points, but an all-around good performance from him. Bench stepped up, looked pretty good in this one. Nice to see Grant Foster play well. Sean Robinson, no threes attempted in this game, but seems to be playing a little better. 3 points and 4 rebounds in this one. Great night for Nick Ongenda, 14 points and 9 rebounds. But the best player of the game, Javon Freeman-Liberty, 21 points, 7 assists, 4 rebound outing. You know, Jalen Terry takes some of the pressure off of him as a ball handler, and it frees him up to make some really nice plays off ball. But in this one, shared the ball well, got it around, and helped this offense that has really been a surprise how good the offense has been for DePaul this year. A solid 84-75 win, tied going into halftime, 40 apiece. And come out with a 9-point victory, outscoring them 44-35 in the second half. Great win for DePaul. Second road win of the year. Awesome to see. And now moves us out of the basement with 5 conference wins. Another big home game for Butler. This time they'll be hosting Georgetown. They get a win here. They would be 15-4 in conference play. They would drop Georgetown to 12-6. So that's a big game for them. Also, big game for St. John's. 9-7 opportunity to get 10 conference wins and move to 15-11 on the year. They want to finish the year strong as they currently are on the wrong side of the bubble. Villanova stayed ranked, at least for the moment, on Friday, the 24th of February, but they're going to need a win over Marquette. They've got to right the ship after a couple tough losses here. Great effort from Butler, getting 90 points against Georgetown. Georgetown, that defense letting them down again, even with a great performance from Caden Rice, over 30 again in this game. He's just a scoring machine. Butler, 91. It's a great effort for them. They got 19 from Jaden Taylor. Also good to see Villanova right the ship with a 9-point win over Marquette and a 13-point win for St. John's. They keep it rolling and keep that momentum going. And now DePaul on the road again, this time against Providence, another matchup of 2 of the bottom teams in the Big East. Providence with kind of an upset win over DePaul in the last sim. Let's see if we can avenge that loss at home and also get another road win. This would be 2 in a row for us. Oh, and that's a tough one, 83-72. Great game from Al Durham, the transfer. Nice to see him playing well with a 21-point game, even getting 21 from Jalen Terry. 18 from JFL. It wasn't enough in this one. Really good games out of Providence's best two players, Justin Minaya and Al Durham. A big win for Providence as they now even the conference record between our two teams with 5 wins apiece. We'll have 2 games, 2 opportunities to see if we can earn another win in the Big East, but it's not going to be easy. They both will be at home, but games against St. John's and then our season finale and senior night against UConn. Big games in the Big East as the calendar flips to March. St. John's, they've been rolling. They've won their last 3 games. As I said, that was important for their tournament hopes. And now they come on the road, traveling to Chicago with a 16-11 record, looking to get their 12th win in the Big East. 2 teams looking to get to 20 wins on the season. Villanova at home against Providence, and UConn on the road after a tough loss to St. John's, now traveling to Creighton. Big surprise with Creighton, a 24-point win over UConn. Just looking, it looks like UConn dealing with some injuries late in the year here. That's going to hurt their tournament hopes. I mean, they're now out of the top 25, but they still have an opportunity to get to 20 wins. If they do so in the regular season, that probably is enough to keep them in. But a tough end to the year for the Huskies. Villanova, a good 10-point win over Providence. That's their 20th win of the season. And now DePaul taking on St. John's. Big win for us and a tough loss for St. John's. The Red Storm go on the road, and even being up 3 at halftime, they fall by 12, 74-62. Just could not find any offense in the second half. 2 big issues for St. John's this evening. It was the turnovers, 18 turnovers, including 14 by starters, and only shooting 4 of 18, 22% from 3-point range. They also only made 64% of their free throws in this one. Really tough outing for St. John's. That's a really difficult loss. Steph Smith came off the bench in this one for them. I think they're missing him in the starting lineup. They could have used his offense in this game. Posh Alexander also held to only 11 points. Greg Williams Jr., the highest scoring player for the Red Storm with 12. DePaul led by our backcourt. A 20-point outing again for Javon Freeman Liberty. He is ending his senior year in style for the Blue Demons. A great game, 20 and 8 assists in this one. His assist number is up too. Clearly his usage rate has changed, even sharing the backcourt with Jalen Terry. Tyon Grant Foster, 10 and 6 in this one. A great game off the bench. Good all-around night for Nick Ongenda as well. Didn't add much in terms of offense, only 6 points, but 6 rebounds and 4 blocks in this one. St. John's, they've really struggled inside. They did in this game. I mean, we beat them by 12 points in the paint, put up 30 against their big men. Also took advantage of some fast break opportunities off those turnovers. Real tough one for St. John's, but a big win, our 11th win of the season, 6th win in conference. Big win for the Blue Demons, and now an opportunity to end the year on a winning streak, but we'll have to do it with a win against UConn. But some good momentum after a really nice showing against a solid St. John's team. Last night of the regular season in the Big East with 5 games on the schedule. A few more game days in the Big East, but none will feature 5 games and 10 teams. Some important games for some teams, including Butler on the road. A win means they would lock up the number 1 seed in the Big East Conference tournament. Being the number 1 seed in MSG can be a good thing. UConn looking for their 20th win, an important win as they go on the road. But it's senior night for DePaul. 4 players will be leaving the program. Walk-on Brendan Favre, this is his last game. Starter Javon Freeman Liberty, the only senior starter, but the team captain and by far most important player on our team. And then 2 bench players who have played some good minutes for us this year, Darius Hall, the forward, and Kavasier McCauley, the guard. Last night for them to play for the Blue Demons, play in front of the home fans. Let's see what we can do in a tough matchup against a team that needs a win in UConn. But we've got some momentum here late in the year. Let's see if we can keep it going and earn a big win against the Huskies. Chaos reigns this night in the Big East. You had some pretty big upsets across the board, starting with Providence getting a win over 16th-ranked Georgetown, 65-53. Good win for the Friars. Also a great win for Seton Hall, 75-63 on the road in Philly. Nova, really tough end to the year and not able to catch Butler, even with Butler losing 83-77 to Xavier on the road. A good win for St. John's coming off that loss. They've won 4 of their last 5. Question is going to be, is that good enough, especially if they can get some momentum in the tournament, maybe a win or 2 in MSG. I mean, it's home games for the Red Storm, but a good win to end the regular season, 68-54 over Creighton. All that's left this night in the Big East is our matchup with UConn. Jalen Gaffney, hopefully he's healthy. He's probable in this one with a broken nose. His minutes have been limited, but by far the most important player is the wrench, Isaiah Whaley, the senior big man. This will be probably one of his last games for the UConn Huskies, an important one on the road in Wintrust. Let's see how this one finishes out. The end of the regular season game, senior night for DePaul. There it is. Last game of the season, a one possession loss to UConn, 76-74. Isaiah Whaley was great in this one, 20-9. Looks like Romeo Weems had a very nice game, but we end the year with a close loss to UConn. A quick look at the box score tells us that a back and forth game ended with UConn just getting the best of us. They outscored us by 6 in the second half, and that was just enough to sneak by with a 2-point victory. Another great effort for my DePaul Blue Demons. Good to see Romeo Weems in what could be one of his last games for DePaul if he does declare again for the NBA. 14 points, a steal, and 2 blocks. David Jones, we're excited about his future. He came on, played pretty well late in the season. 8 points, 4 rebounds, an assist, and 2 steals in this game. Jalen Terry, also very excited about his future running the point for us the next few years. The Oregon transfer with 14 in this one. A tough final game, home game at least, for JFL. 8 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals. Good all-around performance, but not quite what he wanted offensively. You also see seniors Darius Hall played 11 minutes in this one, his final game. Kavasi McCauley with 5 points and 9 minutes in his last game. And Brennan Favre, a tip of the cap, 1 minute, just enough to get on the floor for the senior. Tough final games for some of our seniors. A really heartbreaking loss to end the year. Moves our record to 11-18 on the year. Not bad, definitely an improvement. Seems we are moving in the right direction, but still a rebuilding effort for head coach Kenny Payne. I'll have a full season review in the future. We still have the Big East tournament. There's still hopes alive for the postseason if we can make a deep run. But as of right now, want to look at how the Big East tournament stacks up before we end this episode and look to postseason basketball. Taking a look at the final standings in the Big East, Butler on top, 15-5, a great year. Quietly, very strong year for the Bulldogs. Many weren't sure what to make of a roster that relied on some younger players, but they finished the year very strong, winning 7 of their last 10 and on top by 1 game in the Big East. So they'll be the top seed going into the tournament. Going into MSG, the top 4 seeds, I would expect all make the NCAA tournament. 2 other ranked teams, Villanova and Georgetown. And then UConn, just on the outside, but a 20-win season, 20-10 on the year. Struggled a bit on the road, only 6-8 record on the road. That losing record definitely hurt them, but still a solid season for the Huskies. Then you have St. John's. They'll be the 5 seed and playing basically at home at MSG. They're one of the first 4 teams out of the tournament right now. So it's going to be very important for them to probably string together at least 2 wins if they want to make the NCAA field. The other 6 teams in the Big East, all with losing conference records. The best of the bunch was Xavier with 9-11. The best team by net rankings, actually Marquette. They were 8-12, but came on strong in early February. Really kind of got things together. Finished the year 14-15. And our Blue Demons, not last, tied for last. Tied with Providence and Seton Hall. 2 teams that I expected more out of this season. DePaul, about what I expected. I thought this was a team that could definitely win 10 games. I just wanted them to be competitive in conference, and we did exactly that. Once we finally got healthy, we played some really good basketball. 4-6 in the last 10 may not sound great, but after the way we started conference play, I'll take it. 6-14, also one of the better conference performances from DePaul over the last 5 years. Good to see that. Tough year for Seton Hall. Definitely expected a better year out of Providence. I thought they might be fighting in the way St. John's is to make the tourney. Year just didn't turn out that way. Really good year in the Big East. A little top heavy with 3 top 25 teams, but a chance for this to be a 5-bid conference. That would be good news for the Big East going forward. Let's take a quick look before we leave at the tournament bracket. So first round matchups, DePaul draws Marquette in the 7-10 game. Winner will take on Villanova in the second round. That's a tough one. Tough first game too with Marquette. We played 2 very different games against Marquette this year. We got beat pretty bad in the first one, but then had a 20-plus point win and 80-plus point scoring outing against the Golden Eagles in our second matchup. It was actually during this sim. Would love to see if we can get a win in the conference tournament. That's something DePaul has always struggled with since joining the Big East. Some really good potential matchups, possibly Xavier Georgetown in the second round. Second round also going to feature UConn St. John's. Very important game for both teams as they think about their postseason. St. John's, I'm sure the opportunity to play the NIT at home is great, but they would much rather make the big dance. It'll be interesting to see how this one shakes out. What I'll be bringing you in the next episode of Waking the Sleeping Demon, a little different, but I want to now pan out a bit, pan out from the Big East, pan out from DePaul, and look at nationally what we're looking at. So we'll start with the top 25 and then preview the ACC, Big 10, and Big 12 tournaments. Also getting a look at some of the best players in the country, the players up for the Norton Award, looking at things nationally as we head into the big dance. So that's what's on the docket for you in the next episode. But I hope you enjoyed this episode. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell so you're the first to see videos as soon as I post them. I hope you enjoyed this one. I'll talk to you soon.